Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym. It's Tuesday, so it's the Rachel and Adam show today. What is the day today? Is it the 12th? June 12th. June 12th, 2018. Today we're going to talk about a little about relationships, not just your relationship with health, but how your relationship and how our relationship benefits from the health that we do, the exercise, the nutrition, the mindset, the recovery work that we do, but also that how you can use your relationship to capitalize on those things too. Why are you smiling at me like that?
Because I just got a notification that Grit Gym is on.
We are on.
I know.
Are you mic'd up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about relationships and some of well, we didn't actually go over our topic. So this is our strategy going into this the last few times is that we pick a topic and then she goes nuts on her notes. I don't get to see it. And then I go nuts on my notes. She doesn't get to see it. And then we're going to do it back and forth. But the topic is basically the expectations that movies set us up for, and they set us up for failure on a regular basis with movies like. And the way that we got into this, we were like, what about the Jerry Maguire, the "You Complete Me"? Which is total nonsense, right? Like, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit, and why that expectation is just a setup for failure in relationships, and how it negatively affects any relationship that gets together and does the "You Complete Me." You can bet that that's going to just end in a fireball.
Based off of "You Complete Me" is just not a way to look at it.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, okay, so when it comes to the "You Complete Me" thing, let's just jump into that. Is it the expectation? Is it that the expectation that it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be fireworks and a band playing in the background, and that every day is this like fairy tale thing, and then you actually get there and it's like, oh, well, I've seen you naked every day for the last 5 years. It's not the same as the first time.
No, I think that it kind of goes against.
It's hot. Do you like that
I think there's a little bit of a shift now that people realize that it's no longer about the other person. It starts with yourself. So
I don't know if people know that, though. I think that you know that.
There's a shift, though.
You think that people are starting to wake up?
Yeah.
That you have to love you first in order to...
I think it's kind of like a trending topic. Like, you can't love yourself until you love others.
But why?
Sorry, you can't. Yeah. You can't love others until you love yourself.
But a lot of people think that. They think the selfless stuff is the way to go. That it's like, if you can't... You don't know love until you've loved something more than you loved yourself. And it's like, that's the most garbage advice ever.
I mean, you can't be your best self if you're not your best to yourself either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like how you say, like, your biggest assets are your health, or your biggest asset is your health.
Your individual.
You can't give to others until you can be your best self.
Yeah.
Or work on yourself. So, I mean, not relying on others to complete you kind of gives you the power in that statement.
Yeah.
So first of all, you don't want to give them that power. You don't want to say, you're the reason for my happiness.
Why?
Because it's mean. It's
mean?
It's kind of, you don't want to give them that power, first of all. And then you also don't want to give them that pressure of feeling like they have to please you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the relationship is nothing.
It's doomed. It's
if
beyond
that's
nothing.
What it's based on. If you don't make me happy, then this relationship won't work, is what you're saying. And
that same person will say that they love each other unconditionally. But that right there was a condition. Mm-hmm. If you don't make me happy, I'm gone. Well, like if this relationship is all bent on me making you happy, I'm going to fail at some point. And if at that point you leave, then it'll be a blessing in disguise, but still.
Yeah, one day they're not going to be there. Does that mean that you no longer have the power to feel happy or be happy?
And this is one of the things with the clarity of responsibility. Like when we got into this, we said very early on we had to create agreements. Like, I'm 100% responsible for 100% of my thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors, and you're 100% responsible for 100% of your thoughts, feelings, and actions and behaviors. And I'm not responsible for your happiness, and you're not responsible for mine. Just like I'm not responsible for your sadness, and you're not responsible for mine.
Exactly. And I think that there's also power in being independent emotionally, like being your source of happiness.
Yeah.
Like how every morning you wake up and you have on your journal, like, am I going to be
all
what's
in?
yours?
It's this. Am I going to be all in today, or am I going to be afraid that I'm not enough today?
And mine is, are you going to love yourself today? And
Yeah.
by that I means unconditionally. Like, are there conditions? No, I don't make any conditions for
okay, so
loving myself.
What if it was raining? Would you feel sad?
No, I love the rain.
What if someone was mean to you on the street? Someone driving by gave you the finger?
Well, that I can't say that that's going to make me sad, because that would mean that was a condition of me being sad. If somebody gives me the finger, that ruins my entire thing for the entire day. I don't want somebody to walk in and be the source of my sadness. I don't want the rain to be the source of my sadness. So I set the intention first thing in the day by saying, I am going to be all in and I am going to love myself today. Mm-hmm. And nothing is going to get in the way of that. Yeah.
And no matter what, like even if that guy flicked you off in traffic, even if someone came in up to you and spouted a bunch of nonsense and was really angry at you, like you don't have to take that invitation. Mm-hmm. Like if you did take that invitation to join them in their misery and yell back at them and do all that other stuff, then you would be giving your power to them. You'd be like, okay, well, I'll let you dictate how I'm going to feel.
So, yeah, and also by saying you are the source of my happiness, you're basically saying you're a needy little bitch.
A needy little bitch?
And in return, you're probably with a person that has a need to be needed. Like, the source of their happiness is making someone else feel happy. Feel happy.
Explain that again.
So by saying the statement, you complete me, you are saying you are very needy. I'm not a little bitch, but like...
No, you're a needy little bitch, for sure.
Not saying you are
really
that
good.
person, but this is what you are making the relationship into.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm going to be very needy. I'm going to need you to be happy. And then in return, that person that they're attracting is like, well, I love to make you feel happy, and I'm not going to be happy until I can make you feel happy.
Yeah.
And then that creates a cycle of, well, what about when I'm not happy? Like, make me happy, make me happy. Like,
yeah. What about when I'm tired? When I've worked an entire day long and I come home and I'm just tired and I can't make you happy there, and I don't want to make you happy at the end of the day. Are you still going to sit there and be like, no, you have to make me happy. This is what you promised me.
Yeah,
and then you get a good hook of guilt right into your guts, and then you feel even worse, and then it's worse. And then, like, the amount of a lack of responsibility there is just insane. Like, for one, the only person that can make you feel guilty is you. The only person that can make you happy is you. So both sides erred completely.
Yeah.
All right. So what about so there's a responsibility. And how much of this is going to come down to just clarity? Like the you complete me. Like it's just like what is it? Like I don't know if there's any clarity.
I think for a lot of people, it's just kind of words. But I don't think they realize what those words mean when they say it sometimes.
Sure, but that's what I mean. Like with the clarity thing. Like, do you have to get clear on every single aspect of your relationship, or is it just some things can be assumed?
Nothing should be assumed.
I think.
What were you gonna say if I didn't say that?
I don't know. I was gonna disagree with you.
I know.
This is one thing though. That, like a lot of people don't think that disagreements are a good thing. Disagreements are a great thing. When she disagrees with me, I get to learn her perspective. And when she disagrees, and vice versa. I don't remember which way the first time I said it. But if I get to learn more perspectives, then I increase my intelligence. Why would I not want to do that? We talked yesterday about suicide and about sharing perspectives. And I think there is massive power in sharing perspectives. And now, if she were to disagree and then get combative with me over the thing that she disagrees with, now that's an error on her part. If I do that, that's an error on my part.
Yeah.
And I've gone full-blown douche before, so we both have. Like, everybody makes that error. But if we don't learn from that error, then that's a big, big problem.
So, and also you don't want to be the source of other people. Like, you don't want to be that person. Like, you can hear those words, but I think those are a red flag for, like, this is not what I am to you.
Like
if you're in a relationship and they're like, you make me so happy, you make me so happy. It's like, but do you ever make yourself happy?
Yeah, that's...
Like, do you ever have an instance, like, am I the only person that brings you gratification or self-worth? Because that's kind of a sign that there's something else missing.
Yeah.
Especially in a relationship.
I think there's certain phrases that come up that should be red flags that should cause people just to basically run away. It's the "you make me sad, you make me happy, we needed this." The word should be a huge red flag. I just said should. But like, if
should in that
a person,
context,
if you start listening to people that sorry is another one, people that apologize about everything, is like, what are you apologizing about here? That should be that's a red flag. Like should like, I should go work out. I should do this for my significant other. I should do this for myself. Red flag to you and everybody around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Okay, are we here to kill everybody's Easter bunny?
No.
Are we here to kill the fairy tale?
No. It's just...
Are you sure?
Yeah. I don't think it's about killing the fairy tale. Like, we all love watching movies like Jerry Maguire and the fairy tale and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's more about accepting yourself and building on that. Just giving people that power is not nice to you. You want to have mental toughness, and you want to be able to live on a daily basis without relying on someone to be next to you. Like that's just kind of backwards. I don't know. I've always been kind of like independent, and I've always had like girlfriends that are like constantly seeking gratification and acceptance from boyfriends or from friends. And I don't know, like, it's not like I'm perfect, but like I just notice it's a need. It's not even like a want, it's like a need. It's like constantly on their phone trying to see who's interested in them, or on social media trying to get people to give them attention. But really inside, like, what are they dealing with?
Yeah. Why can't they be the source of that validation for themselves?
Yeah.
And this isn't something that we just inherently know, either of us. This is something we both had to learn. Some of this stuff I think she does just inherently, and I don't at all. I don't understand. I didn't understand any of it before I first started learning about this stuff. I picked up book after book after book. I had nothing but terrible relationships, so I was like, I'm the common denominator. I got to get to work on this stuff. I hired relationship coaches to learn more about relationships. There's a lot of work that we've both done to get better at this stuff, and it's not easy to do. And there's a lot of confrontation that you have to do internally and together. But as individuals, like, I think you should do it. Like, you should go like separately. Like, if you get a relationship coach, you should not go together. I don't think, not for a very long time. I think you should go as individuals, and then maybe you come together at some point. But
and work on yourself. Do something that. Find a way to like invest in yourself each day. If you're like at the very beginning of this and you're realizing now that it's not about the other person, it's about kind of being nice to yourself, like investing in yourself, like doing the relationship coach and kind of exploring what it means to have unconditional love for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, one day I decided I'm gonna love myself for the end of time. It's like day to day to day to day to day.
Yeah.
So
it's a work in progress too. Like, there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And like when I first started doing this stuff, like, I was basically just like, my boundaries were just completely open. That anybody could walk in or out, and it was like I was like trapped in that like sort of disappointment of heartbreak all the time, you know. This is way before her. And then before her, I eventually just put up a boundary. It was just like, the boundary was very cut off. It was no one got in and nothing got out. So I was an island for a very long time. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe it's time to build some doors and open those up and increase the vulnerability. And one of the statements that really helped me out along that was this, was kind of a philosophical like question of, if you have nothing to defend, how could you ever be attacked? And I was like, well, I don't have anything to defend. I'm just going to be me. But that's really hard to do. So it takes some time to iron those things out. And then later on, she came along, and it was still just another challenge. But this is one of the things I think what I'm getting to here is that along the way, there's just going to be mountains and mountains and mountains of work to do, but that they're worth it in the end. But I can promise you that, I shouldn't say promise, but I almost guarantee you that if you don't work at it, it will never work. Like if you don't work at your relationship with you, it will never work. Like this will never work. If she doesn't work on her relationship with her, there can't, and I don't work on the relationship with me, it impedes our ability to have a relationship with each other. I just went on for way too long.
I agree. But that's kind of what I mean, like invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just a little, like looking at yourself in the mirror every day. Like just something to like kind of bring yourself to be present.
That's the cliche one though.
It is. But like on the opposite side, like if you wake up every morning expecting people to make you happy, you're kind of gonna seek people who are unhappy.
Oh yeah.
Because those are the people who are like, oh yes, like they want to, like, the need to be needed kind of people. Like when you were in those relationships, what kind of women were you
do you really
magnet or
I was attracting very needy women because I had a need to be needed. If I met someone, and I think like what you guys don't know is like when we tell the story of how we actually got together, we met a long time ago, and like we kind of had a little thing, and then it stopped, and then like a year later we'd meet up again, go on a couple dates, and then a year later meet up and go on. 2 years later we'd meet up and go on a couple dates. It wasn't until, I mean, it took like it's like in the 10, 11, 12 years that we've known each other, only like the first 5 of that was like I think what was going on there was she didn't need me.
Yeah,
she didn't need me.
Definitely didn't.
And I had a need to be needed. She didn't need me. So she didn't need me to make her happy. She didn't need me to do anything. So what I would do is, like, we go on a couple dates and I was like, well, there's not much there. Because in my head, like, the subconscious need to be needed was there. It wasn't a conscious thing. I thought, like, she's gorgeous. Why would I pass this up? Like, seriously. But it would just kind of fizzle out. Like, I'd do things like, oh, she doesn't... She's not interested. She's not interested.
Well, you just weren't used to that.
I wasn't used to that at all. But I would find these other girls that did have this huge need. Like, they were so needy.
Well,
and
what
man,
was that?
I was the hero. I was so good at that. I could swoop in and make them real happy. And I got really good at that. But it wasn't until I put that away, and then if you go back,
what is it like? What does it do to you being in that position?
What do you mean?
Like, for you to be the person that they're relying on, like, what does that do to you?
Oh, it was awful. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it is it was exhausting. It was an exhausting relationships. It was a constant, like I was trying to run a business, and I was trying to grow this relationship at the same time, but like everything was on me to like make them happy all the time. Like, this constant
if you see
this
them,
constant validation, this constant making them, this constant thinking things out, this constant like, oh my gosh, I can't say this because this will happen.
If you were to walk into a room, or they come home at the end of the day and you see them sad, you were putting that on you.
I was putting that. Yeah, I was taking responsibility for that, and it wasn't on me.
That's not fair of whoever that was.
But that was mean of me to try to solve that for them.
Yeah.
I think the most harsh thing that you can do in your life is to try to solve a problem that somebody else could solve on their own.
You're robbing them of that experience.
You're robbing of the power of picking themselves up.
Yeah. There's power in like being able to say like, I'm not gonna be a victim right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give in to these emotions of feeling not significant or not enough. Like,
and there was 2 people playing the victims in that. Like, the girl wasn't just the only one playing the victim. I was playing the victim too.
You?
Yeah, there's 2 victims there. Because like if she needs me, and I come in and I solve the problem for her, then I put myself on the chopping block. So that, like, for instance, the second that it would happen where I like didn't come home and do that, or I didn't, wherever we met up, like I didn't meet their need, it was just a super shot of guilt. Now I'm playing the victim. I feel guilty for them feeling like shit. It's not my responsibility, but I still took the responsibility for it.
It kind of sounds like
I'm
it was
playing
a
the
game.
Totally is. But this is what we're trying to say here is that this is so normal Those are normal relationships. Those are normal marriages. And if you're here to be normal, you are very much in the wrong place.
If you're here on the show,
yeah.
watching the show, yeah.
I don't know. If you're on planet Earth and you're here to be normal, I think you need to...
Well, that's what I kind of meant by it, like this is a newer concept for some people, because like when you first said this to me, I remember being like, you're fucking crazy.
When I first said what to you?
When I was like, I feel like, or you're making me feel like, I remember you saying like, wait, I can't make you feel anything. And I was like, fuck you. Like, stop it.
It wasn't it wasn't like I was like, I can't make you feel shit.
It's not.
I never said that. It was just like, hey, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to do that thing. I'm not going to do that deal where you feel instead of think. And I'm not going to do that thing where I make you anything. I'm not going to make you happy, and I'm not going to make you sad.
Still constantly feel myself trying to explain things, and I use that word.
You just did it.
I know. I can use feel.
I know.
But I just not in that context. And that's the thing too. It's okay to be happy when that person's around.
Yeah.
But like to rely on that and have them be your source of happiness is what is not the correct way to wrap your head around it.
It's not going to foster a healthy relationship with yourself or with another person. And that's why we said at the beginning, like, if you don't love you, you will have nothing to share.
Yeah.
You have to love you first, and then I have to love me first, and then Rachel has to love herself first, and then maybe we can share some of that love.
Maybe we can share. No.
But you can't do the whole, if I have a hole in me and she has a hole in her, and then all of a sudden we get together, we don't make a complete human. I'm not half of a human. I am human. She's not half of a human that has a void inside of her that I can fill. She has to fill that void for herself, and then we can be in a relationship together.
We're on solo trips, but we're just going together.
Yeah.
Right? It's a solo trip.
Well, there is a certain amount of, what was that analogy that one guy said?
Which one?
Oh, that the illusion of the railroad tracks is that as you go further down, that they get closer together, but really the ties keep you apart. So that's a thing of boundaries. Like, we have to break that boundary down so that we can come closer together. Can we go over some things that love is and is not?
Okay.
I wrote some of these down.
You're going to quiz me?
Yeah, no. No, not at all. But I am trying to speak for males. And I think that you're mostly speaking for females, but
yeah.
So one of the things, like, love is not the opposite of hate. Thought is the opposite of hate, not love. Like, that's one of the things that there are a lot of errors out there, but I think that objective thought is what is going to get you out of hate and anger, not love.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. What else?
You cannot share love until you have it to share. So you must love you first, or loving another is not an option. Love is not lust. Love is not all you need. The Beatles are full of shit. Love is not justified abuse. I hear this one on a pretty regular basis, that someone will say, they do that because they care so much. If that is the case, then do not go caring for me. If justified abuse is how you care for someone, don't go caring for me, please. Love isn't easy. This is one of those things like that you hear status quo say. If love is if it's the right person, then it should be easy. That's garbage.
It should be easy, or shouldn't be easy.
No, it's not going to be easy. Like, if you don't work it's not going to work. I don't care what it is. The meant to be thing. You're not destined to be with If we gave you 1,000 lifetimes, you're not going to end up with the exact same person every single lifetime.
And even if it's the perfect person, that doesn't mean that you don't have to put work into it.
Right, exactly. Molly got really mad at my mom and I one time because this is like 3 weeks after Molly got married, or like 3 months or something like that, and she was still all giddy. It's fine, whatever. But Molly went to Holland when she was in college, and we were talking about what if she had stayed in Holland, or she was talking about what if she had stayed in Holland. And my mom goes, well, then you wouldn't have met Chris, which is her husband. And she goes, well, yes, I would. That's how these things work. And my mom and I both just died laughing. We thought that was so funny. And she got really mad at us. But it's like, no, like, that is, my mom actually goes, oh, no, they don't. But love is also not a fairy tale. More than anything, this is the most common. These next three are the most common errors in the whole love thing. Love is not a competition. Love is not efficient, and love is not adult-like. You watch little kids; they'll teach you more about love than any adult ever will. And if you're playing in a competition like I was in my relationships before her, that was a competition. Who could hook whose guilt? Who could make someone feel happy? Who could fill the need so that they could never leave because you don't find yourself lovable in the first place? If I would have found myself lovable,
so they kind of rope each other in.
Yeah, if you don't find you lovable, you'll find someone that's needy, so that
they can't leave.
So that you can fill that need for them. Because then if you can fill that need for them, they'll never leave. You'll always have them. They can't abandon you.
Messed up.
But it's really fucked up. It's a mind trip that we play on ourselves.
Think of it like that.
Yeah, that's how it ends up working out. But a relationship will not survive on love alone, and if you don't work, neither will the relationship. So it's just, those are a few of the things that I think that more people need to. Those are a few topics that I think more people need to talk about when it comes to love. Do you got any?
I also kind of didn't. Well, okay, being negative and bringing negativity into the relationships you have kind of attracts that as well. So
you mean attracts negativity?
Yeah. So the
Misery loves
negativity
company.
you feel for yourself, you're basically attracting that. People are attracted to misery loves company.
Yep.
So if that's what you want to spread, that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
And if you continue to get that over and over again, maybe figure out what negativity you're spreading and deal with it.
Yeah, and just because like a confrontation doesn't have to mean doesn't have to get combative. It doesn't have to, like, you don't have to scream at a person to confront them. You don't have to attack them to confront them. You can say, hey, can you do better with this? Like, hey, we need to talk about this. You can confront something without being an asshole, which I'm definitely not perfect at. I've gone full-blown douche before.
With who?
What else? With you. Like, I've been a total jerk at times, and you've been a total jerk at times.
I think I'm good.
But we just keep working on it.
Yeah. You
got all your stuff? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about clarity, and then we'll hop off the show. What is your definition of love?
Of love?
Is it that you'd take a bullet for someone? Is it you die for someone? Is it you live for someone? Is that they'd make you happy, tell you you're pretty? What's love mean to you? Is it sex?
Throw it out there. I think you have to be willing to make it either unconditional or not unconditional or not. So either you're gonna love yourself or you're not.
Okay, so and if you're gonna have conditions on your relationship, then you better get clear with what the conditions are. I think is what you're meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I will love you no matter what, but that's a condition. If you're saying but, then
yeah, and those are perfect. That's if you want to make that decision, that's fine. But get clear with what the conditions
are. Clear with your non-negotiables.
Kind of like we were listening to that podcast with the couple that had the open relationship. They had to get very clear with what their conditions were.
Oh yeah, and especially when it's like an unconventional kind of relationship that you can't really base it off of anybody else's. You're basically making your own rules.
I think you should make your own rules.
Well, yes, but like in a weirder way, like not weirder way, but more unique because it's like something you can't really base off of anybody else's experience because it's not really common. You don't hear of that very often. Not many people have the ability to be okay with their significant other being in a emotional and sexual relationship
with somebody else.
With someone else.
Yeah.
While they're still in an emotional sexual relationship. It's very weird. I don't. And
she doesn't. I don't think she means weird in a negative way.
It's like it's a very weird different concept. Like how they're okay. They got clear, and they're okay with the conditions of the relationship. That they can be happy and be themselves and still be together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I totally agree. So how do you define love?
I just said that. Did I? Making sure
like-
that you don't have conditions on and starting with yourself.
Okay. Gotcha.
And having clarity in what those conditions mean,
And I
if
think-
there are any.
I think the word love gets wrapped up with the word like a lot, like or often. That like and love, as if like is when you like something a lot, then you say that you love it. I don't know if that's accurate. To me, like and love are two very different things. I can like something very, very much and not love it. So I don't love Oreos. I like Oreos. I love Rachel. There's a totally different thing there. But for me, love is a sharing of the presence that you do have. And that presence, to be present, you have to know that you're enough. So when I say that, like my love for me, it's that I'm present, and that's enough. I'm enough to do my absolute gut-wrenching best in this moment. I'm enough. And then I'm very present. I'm right here, right now. I can plan for the future. I can learn from the past, right here, right now. And then that love, this love between you and I, is a sharing of that. That's how I get clear with all of that.
Yeah, we're willing to share each other's experience.
Yeah, and then past that, like the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about on clarity was like the expectations for the future. I think this is one of the things that I see all the time is like someone will go through a 15-year marriage, divorce because one of them wanted to have kids and the other didn't, and they knew it, and they knew that one of them didn't want to have kids before they ever even got married.
They just thought they'd change their mind.
They thought they'd change their mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to bank on that.
Nope.
If that's what's really important to you, if that's a condition of you being in a relationship, then I mean, even if the person's like, I don't know if I'll ever will.
Yep.
If that's something you really, really want, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to resent that person either, and you don't want to get
15
to
years
15 years down the line.
You could be 55 years old and be like, oh, okay, well now I can't have kids.
Oh.
Males don't have that problem, but I see that in a lot of things. Like people won't ask, are we in a mutually sexually exclusive relationship? Are we in a mutually exclusive relationship of any kind? Can we date other people? Can we not date other people? Can we what kind of relationship are we in? And obviously, like you can put way too much pressure on that up front and doom the relationship from the beginning because it's just a weird question to ask. But I think those kind of questions are things that you have to ask. Mm-hmm. You have to get clear on. What else do you have? Are you ready to finish this off?
Yes.
Cool. This is a good one. You want to do it?
No, you got it.
You always say that.
No, I've
What
done
do you
it
guys
before.
think? What do you guys think? Should she send us off?
Oh, nobody said anything.
All right. So anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Please like, comment, share. Tell us what you think. Tell us what your experience with your relationships has been, or anything that you got from the show, or that you found interesting, or that you completely disagree or agree with, whatever it is. But regardless, we want to make the show about sharing perspectives, our perspectives, not necessarily cramming information down everybody's throat, but actually sharing perspectives that can be learned from.
Like with
experiences
your
and perspectives. Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
On this topic.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next week.